Hey guys,
Hey, hey.
Hello.
how's everyone doing?
Hello. Good,
Good, you?
Good. Honestly, this week has been a little on my end, a little tiring, I think. But I'm very, very happy to be here. And I'm excited to talk about our topic today. So, for those of you who don't know us, welcome to the podcast, Why Christianity? My name is Natalie. We have here Charles. We have Harut. We have Stephanie. And we're so excited to bring to you another episode. Today, we are discussing the topic of faith and anything related to it. So, whether or not, doubt is normal, whether or not, does it contradict reason completely, whether or not there's just so many things to tackle when it comes to faith. And we decided to make a whole episode on it today. So before we get started and, before we get into it, a little bit about the podcast. So Charles, I started initially with Charles, and then we decided to also have Stephanie and Haru just because they're also on this journey themselves. And they have a lot to share as well. But Charles, why did we start Why Christianity?
So really, it's those questions that we ask ourselves, and to ask: Is this normal? Is this what God wants us to do? Ask those questions. Why do we have them? And I think by looking at it, is Christianity offer this space where we build this relationship with God, and this is why we call it Why Christianity, among all everything else. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yay. So before we get into the topic completely, guys, let's do a little weekly recap. How has your week been? Let's start with you. How did you seem you have
What do you
a
mean?
lot to say?
yeah. He's smiling
I
like
told you in the beginning I would have nothing to say about my week. So,
Before we start the episode, he's like, not like your weekly recaps. I have nothing to say every time. It's just like
my week. Should I be serious or not serious? No. But yeah, I've had a good week. For those who watched like the previous episodes, I've been doing the same habit that I've been doing every single morning when it comes to like reading the Bible and praying. So as I said previously, I wake up at 7 and at 8 I start working from home. So what I do, I try to do like a 30-minute Bible reading and praying. So I've been going strong with that. So I've been doing it like every day for like the past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's
that's
your
been good.
secret to like the consistency? Because a lot of people set their goals. Yes, I want to read the Bible. I want to why? How are you so consistent with it?
That's a good question. I've been for a long time. I knew that I had to do it. I knew it, like it was in my head, but I didn't really do it. And it came a point where I was like, okay, I went on a trip in the summer, and then I came back, and it was like a restart for me. And then I just decided, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna wake up at 7. I'm gonna wake up at 7. And I'm gonna do it. Anyways, like in the past, when I woke up like 5-10 minutes before my job, it didn't go well. So I needed to have this 1 hour before. So I would just wake up 1 hour before, do it, and that's it.
Nice. I'm happy you're consistent.
Yeah.
It becomes like just a habit in the end, I think.
Exactly.
The more you
Like
do
after
it, the
60
easier it
days, it becomes easier with
Yeah.
time. So yeah.
Exactly. Stephanie.
Yeah. So, like Harut, like I've been reading the Bible every day as well. And what helps me, so to answer your question, the consistency, because that was something I struggled with. What's been helping me is a YouTube podcast.
Oh.
It's like reading. It's with Father Mike Schmitz. He's basically reading the Bible in a year,
Okay.
and
The full Bible, like
yeah.
Genesis to Revelation.
Yeah, and every day there's like 2 chapters of Genesis, 2 chapters of Job, one like a few lines of Proverbs that we read, and like it's all we're gonna go through all the Bible every year, and I find that to be easier.
Yeah.
I like it more now to read it like with him, and he also like gives his comments. It's very light, and it's it's nice. I
That's
like it.
That's nice.
So yeah, that's helped.
It's nice to add the audio too to the text that you read, because I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, when I'm reading, like it's so easy for my mind to just wander and start thinking about other things. But when you add the audio to it plus the visual, It's just a lot easier to stay focused.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have ADHD, I recommend. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, but before that, quick mention. While Steph is not in front of the camera, but seated today.
She's with us today. She's with us. She's among us.
Shout out to our operator today, Daryl. So thank you
Daryl.
for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you.
My week was interesting. It's a mix of good things happening and moments of doubt still. So for a long time, I really had an unsatisfied client here at the studio. But finally, we find the solution. So I was really happy to help him. He was really, enduring with me. So I'm glad of that. But still, on the side, on my personal quest, I'm having sometimes some questioning and doubt. So
Regarding your faith, or just in general,
in
like
general,
entrepreneurship, work,
I would say more relationship-wise.
relationship-wise?
Would be interesting to have a topic, an episode on that. Even.
You mean like romantic or
Yeah.
or siblings, friends?
No, romantic.
Yeah.
I would say
Romantic.
over. Like I think the other relationship I'm doing.
Yeah, fine.
With
But what's your doubt with like romantic
I
relationships?
don't know. Sometimes I meet a person. Is it the right person? So, I don't know. Is it good to pray on it? I don't know. What's the best way?
I mean, look, it's always good to pray on it.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is because I'm married now, so I can give advice. So, I mean, one thing I would say is you choose a person that you're interested in. Yes, they're interested in you, but what's important is not are they my person, or are they the person for me? It's more is this somebody that I could make things work with? Can I sit and discuss with this person? Because it's not about are they my soulmate? And I don't believe in that stuff. It's really you choose to make it work every day.
100%.
So yeah, I guess that would be the thing to look at if you want something long term. But it's hard to tell at first when you just meet the person.
Yeah,
You need to
exactly.
talk to them. You need to sit with them. It takes time. It's not
I think it's a mix of chemistry, good chemistry, and values.
100%.
values.
Values is the most
exactly.
important. Then if there's chemistry, then you know to proceed with the person.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you'll find
Yes.
your
Answers. Yeah.
and your
Okay, thank you.
answers.
And you not.
And me, my week. So it's been a
Close.
tough one, honestly. It hasn't been that
What's
great
up?
of a week. No.
Tell us
he
what
said
you
that.
Okay.
So no, my week has been a bit tough, I guess, on the more psychological, mental side. I think I've had a lot of questioning, doubt, a lot with work. Questioning whether I want to keep doing what I'm doing, just because it's a lot of work for not little results. I'm getting results, but it's just it's a very difficult part of life right now. So I'm just still figuring that out. I'm praying about it. I still have not heard God's voice, so I keep telling Steph that every day. But
That was your New Year's sort of resolution, right?
resolution,
To have some sort of sign or anything.
Yeah.
not some sort of sign, a sign.
A sign. Okay, it's been
A
2 weeks.
sign.
Relax.
Here's your sign.
You have the entire year.
I still have the entire year. I will wait for my
Yes.
sign.
Here's your sign. Is your work can you just work 5 hours a week and the business can run?
If I keep it as it is,
Yeah.
yes.
That's good.
But again, I'm not making that life-changing money. So
Yeah.
do I still want to keep doing that? No.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's appealing in terms of exit, because when you build something that people will look at is, okay, how much effort should I put in a business for it to work? So if someone tell me, okay, you will make 100,000, but spend 100 hour versus okay, you can make 50K and spend just 10 hours a month.
Oh yeah.
I'll take the 50K and
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
100%. It's definitely like a good maybe side hustle. But my question is like, should I keep growing it? Is it worth that much work?
I feel like you
will
can
see.
maintain it and try to
Something else.
seek a growth.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Yeah.
heading towards.
Perfect.
But we'll see. We'll see. If
great.
God's voice says something different, I will follow his voice. All right, guys. So let's dive in. Today we want to talk about faith, what it is exactly. So I'm just going to start with like this generic question, and then we'll see like where we can go from here. What is faith? Can we just start like by defining it, saying exactly what it is, just so we know and we're all on the same page on what we're talking about?
Yeah. So I think in the general sense, it's, the act of the intellect to choose to believe in something that we cannot see. So it basically relies on testimony. And we see this in our like everyday life. If it's not God, then we see it like in society. When you travel, with a plane, you trust that the pilot is not going to crash. You trust that the engineers built the plane correctly. So there's an element of faith there. And there's multiple examples of that. So it's to show, like, I think it's how society works. There's this element of trust that needs, to have. We need to have that with each other. And I guess,
Maybe if I
would
could add to
start with
that, I could add something to that, is that element of trust came into, you start trusting like that because you got used to something that always happens. So like the plane, like you went on a plane for one time, the second time you're a bit less afraid, the third time you're a bit less afraid. So it's a bit like that with faith maybe. Like I was saying in the last episode, like the more you read the Bible, the more you trust in God, the more you're familiar with God, the more you become someone that has faith. So maybe that's in a way to view faith the way you described it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
What about you, Charles?
Faith for me, it's a complex dimension where you mix the unseen with what you can see, like your emotions and like everything, but it's the opposite of being just blinded and just like following something. So that's for me the definition.
It's a misconception, I think, that faith is like you're blinded by it and you're following something completely blindly. Like, what would you answer to people who say, oh, if you have faith, it means you're just naive, you're believing things you're blindly believing in things you've never seen or you've never had evidence for?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I need to think about an analogy, but a good way of seeing it is like if we reflect a bit on society, like every time a new thing happens, we have faith that humanity will not use it, the wrong way. For example, the nuclear weapons. We like the faith is what
AI.
AI nowadays. So like all those elements for me is the faith that we are trusting that humanity is capable of good, and we're trusting that the bad will not overcome that.
So it's believing in the
But
good despite like the uncertainty.
There is some naivete in that though. Us believing that, AI, for example, it's not going to become something very ridiculous. Or, for example, like a nuclear war not happening, we just like say it's not going to happen, it never happened, whatever.
Yeah.
But
like
I'm not like 100% convinced that it won't.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we need to be careful to not like follow in the fear, which is a sin, and also like this kind of rabbit hole of like conspiracies. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think to add to that, like there is some very solid foundation that we have in Christianity to have faith. So it's not like something blind that a guy resurrected and that's it. No. We have
Yeah.
manuscripts, 25,000. Like we have a lot of evidence that there was a resurrection, that the 12 apostles that all died for Christ. Just based on that, we can put on our faith in the fact that every single person devoted their lives to Christianity and developed this religion out of nothing, where there was almost no, how would you say, like there was almost no probability of it propagating into all the world. And like, for example, Judaism, it was just like at the time, I don't think people converted into Judaism. It was just people's descendants. It was just you're born a Jew, you become a Jew, but you cannot come and say in the Roman Empire, for example, like where there's multiple gods, there's one God, and then close on the idea of everything. Like it was very dangerous, and it still was able to be propagated.
Yeah.
I'd say like what kind of separates maybe people who think it's naive or whatever is that they focus a lot on reason, on logical things, evidence-based thing, which, yes, Christianity has a lot of evidence for it, strong evidence even. I think the more, even myself, I do the research for like this podcast, for the topics we've covered in the past, I realize like it's stronger than I thought it was. And reason itself, it can't explain everything in the world. And I think, Charles, you're maybe the most qualified to speak of that here with your background. So you have a PhD in cancer research, and like, science is not everything. Yeah. Yes, science, we can study the things that we see, that we can measure physically, but there's a lot that we miss. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just outside of our maybe realm of perception. So yeah, what do you say for that? So people who say, no, like science only, there's just reason, there's no place for faith.
Yes, absolutely. And I would love to actually touch point with what Harwood said. It's really first considering, okay, what is real? And then saying, okay, well, at least the figure of Christ, the person of Christ was real, the historical figure. So we have a solid base there. I just had a thought this couple of days, comparing it to other religions. For example, let's take the example of Buddhism. So it seems convenient that Buddha could exist because it's like one person, but we have kind of zero evidence of that.
Oh, really?
So would someone really have faith on a fictional character? So that's like a question I had in mind. But if we just dive into what you said, Nat, so the science behind everything, the creation of the universe, like everything seems to be in a way well ordered, that it's impossible for things not to have a creator. Just like the way that the universe is like a stable entity, that even scientists say if like gravity was weaker or higher, everything will collapse. So how is this possible? That's really super interesting. And the most interesting part is, okay, well, in those fine-tuned settings that we have in the universe, is why does it lead to life? So that's the question we have. And it's really a beautiful analogy to God, because God is a living God. Our God is a living God, and He's full of love. So like, it's like putting like all those things together, and like how creation is made through His love, and He wants us to live.
Absolutely. And like even myself, the more I dig into these just reason only or science only people, like the more questions that I have for them, as well as, you mentioned a lot of the points, like how our world is so orderly. How did all of this come to life? Doesn't things like this or life like this does not come out of nowhere. It's like, again, everything has a cause, right? Yeah. It doesn't just pop out of anywhere. And even today, I don't think like scientists can even explain that as to, okay, yes, the Big Bang happened. And science is very good at explaining what we see. right? It explains the how things work,
Yes.
right? But it doesn't explain the
Why.
why. It
Yeah.
doesn't explain a lot of things that we
Yeah.
don't see. So that's why I think like the most logical thing we can do is assume there is a creator, and yeah, that like there's a certain order, and even like if we look at humans, there's a sense of morality. Where does it come from? Like there's a lot more than just science itself. Consciousness. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
And science, at the end of the day, what is it? It's like it's the process of discovering. Like science is when we discover something is a fact.
Yeah.
But the unknown, you can't say it's not scientific. You don't know because you haven't discovered yet. So like once you
Exactly.
discover it, it's science.
Exactly.
They say it's science. So like, okay, there's like undiscovered stuff. And to add to that, like when it comes to also faith, just to add a little bit is, for example, I think you guys, I don't know if you've seen the Andrew Huberman show. Andrew Huberman talks about like the microwave or like the rayon, like UV. Like a lot of rays that we don't see. Even animals, sometimes they see stuff that we don't see. How do you describe that, right? So there's stuff actually, let's say in this room, that we don't see, which kind of tells you, okay, you can't say that something invisible is not scientific, because actually something invisible exists. It's just we can't detect it. So like that's why when people say it's either science or religion, I disagree completely, because it's like it's religion, I think, or God or the angels or whatever, or the spiritual realm is scientific when they discover it.
Exactly.
So like we haven't discovered that yet, in my opinion. It's not a realm that we've touched.
When
like
you can measure it.
exactly, like your brain, they haven't discovered how it functions, like 80% of it. So like how could you just assume, okay, no, X, there's no religion, there's no God or whatever.
Yeah. I think it just goes hand in hand. Like science helps us discover what God created and even learn more about God in some way. Like the deeper you dig, the more I think you get to that conclusion.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, amongst all that, like I know in everyday life, it's hard to imagine there is a God, just because we don't see him. He's not like chilling next to us, walking. Is doubt normal? Like
That's what you would have liked, huh?
I would have loved.
next to us.
Again, I mentioned this last episode, but I have beef with Adam and Eve. They were chilling with God in the garden, and then just because of the fruit, they had to doom us all. But it's okay.
Yeah, I think any person at some point would have taken the fruit.
Yeah.
It's not Adam and Eve, but they were the first ones. Just take it.
Yeah, maybe not.
You don't know. Anyways.
So yeah, is it normal to have doubt? Or does having doubt mean that you don't have faith?
It's normal to doubt, definitely. Like you read through the Bible and many characters in it have doubted, God's justice. And so it's normal. I think what's interesting is, coming back to the reason part, it's that reason, we can know that, we are limited in our knowledge. And that's where basically reason ends. It's like, okay, we can't know, for example, what happens after we die. And, what happens, even if before we were born, was there something or, Yeah. So we can't know that. And faith is where that's where faith comes, and it gives you the full picture. And the full picture is why. Like, why are we here? It answers the deepest truth of, that we're looking for. And doubt is basically us not having, not having that understanding, not having all of this knowledge that God has. And so it's normal, and also if something happens in our lives that's unexpected, that we think, just happened and out of, the ordinary, it's a struggle that comes your way. You start asking questions. Okay, I thought this wasn't supposed to happen. So there's many reasons why someone would doubt. And I think that, at the end of the day, I think what God desires is for us to bring those doubts and questions to him, but by being sincere, I think very honest about them.
Yeah.
Like tell him, and And just be honest with them and keep searching for the truth.
Yeah.
You know, keep searching, and that's how we discover more, you know, with doubt. It's like you start testing, you know, some theories, you start looking for answers. So it refines the, you know, truth. It seeks the truth. We find it. So
Can I add on to that?
Yeah.
You said you keep searching for the truth, but what does that mean? It's like when you have faith, you're like, okay, I'm going to choose to believe in God, for example. You start reading the Bible and all that. But I think the very important aspect of that is to try to get to know the person of God. And when you try to actually look at the characteristics of who God is and get to know the person of God, you start to even have more faith without even trying to have faith. Like you start to get to know who God actually is, because you can have an image of God, or I think God is like this, or a certain perspective of God that you're unaware of. And just actually looking at the Bible and looking for God is, I think, a good way of increasing your faith.
Yeah. And see, that's something that I kind of struggle with, and where I think a lot, if not all of my doubt comes from. It's this part where I know as humans, when we have a certain belief, we do everything to kind of look for signs or proof for that belief. So if you believe that God exists, everything that you see in the world is going to be, oh, God did this. Oh, this was God. Oh, right? Because you're going to be looking for it actively. Does that mean that he really exists, though?
Well,
That's, I'd say, my
Well,
main
that means
struggle.
that you're still looking for evidence. But once you believe, you're done. Like, I decided to believe. So you're not looking for evidence anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, it's set in stone. So you're not trying to be like, is God real? Oh, all these things are popping up. It means God's real. You're still thinking or looking for something.
Yeah.
But I think you will never have 100% the evidence. Like, it's never going to be like straight up in your face.
No.
Like,
no, it's
you
not
know
gonna
what
be.
I mean?
No, 100%.
No.
Or else there's no faith. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
faith is
Exactly.
like in the absence of the clarity. That's faith. So even like in moments, we talked about the desert last week.
Yes.
Moments of the desert, or the moment of like agony or suffering, I think God is increasing your faith in that way.
Exactly.
Because there's no answers and you're in pain.
Yes, and I love also like what you said, Steph, about like doubt making you research, which I think is, again, like one of my like personal main reasons why I started this podcast, because of discussions with Charles. It's because like I had questions, I doubted, and that pushed me to do more research, to look for what's out there, what's, you know, the actual evidence that we have for this religion. And that has strengthened my faith. So I think doubt in some sense is good in the end, because it's going to make you look for arguments that could justify it. Because if you, like, yes, I've always been Christian my whole life, but if you asked me to defend some points or to respond to these difficult questions, I wouldn't have been able to, and that would have shaken my faith.
What do
to
you
the
think of
core.
abortion? No.
Oof, that's another big topic.
Yeah.
But
You asked to defend it. And I give you.
but yeah, so that's why I think doubt is good, and I think it's like Steph, you mentioned, like it is normal to doubt, and like even Thomas in the Bible doubted Jesus, and mind you, guys, he lived with him for 3 years. 3 years.
He's so spoiled.
It really, like you get to live with Jesus for 3 years, and then you still doubt. Like you saw all his miracles, you saw, like, no wonder we doubt.
Okay, not he died for Christ. Relax.
But still, right? He still asked for
Exactly.
proof.
In the beginning, it was like after 3 years of
3
spending
years,
with
and
Christ.
it's not like Jesus was only speaking. Like he was doing things. He was doing things that were out of this world, and like he showed them he was God. So I'm like, it's normal that we doubt. If his closest friend doubted.
I mean, it's totally true. Like reading the Gospels, you will see that even at the Last Supper, people were still confused. Like what is Jesus saying? Like this is like my true body and blood. Like some people were like still confused until the end.
Until the end.
So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And a lot of things, like he said, they didn't necessarily always like understand it at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But another thing with faith, one thing that calms me down with faith is Jesus says you can move mountains with faith as small as a mustard seed.
Yeah.
And the mustard seed is the smallest seed like to ever exist in the world. So like that calms me down because like you don't think that you need to have that much faith in order to get something going and to get somewhere.
Yeah.
So like the biggest miracle is to move a mountain, for example.
100%.
You need to have faith as a
You
small
guys
mustard
are
seed.
gonna laugh, but did you know
What?
I like tried that a
What?
little bit. I'm like, I think I have faith. Okay, yes, I doubt. Yes, I know I mentioned my doubts a lot, but I do have faith as small as a mustard seed. So one day
What
I
did you
hike
do?
a lot. So one day I was looking at a mountain. I'm like, I have faith. Like, you know, I just it didn't work, obviously. So I guess my faith is even smaller than a small mustard
You should have
seed.
kept that for yourself. Not kidding. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think we
what I
all have those. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
We like the impossible is possible, and you think of the impossible and like what if, like why not,
Yeah.
right? Because God is God at the end of the day. So
Exactly. Exactly. Steph, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna add to what you said. Like the mustard seed is the smallest seed, but when it grows, it becomes one of the biggest trees.
oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It says it in
It's
the
So-
very interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That he chose a mustard
This-
seed.
But it's nice that he pointed that out specifically because such
Yeah.
a small thing could become such a huge thing,
Exactly.
and that's how he works in us, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a life
100%.
journey.
Absolutely.
And as I said, get rid of one sin a year
Yeah.
permanently. She
Harold's gonna
commented
live
on
his
it.
whole life. I keep messing with him about this because I'm like, once in a year.
Yo, but
Do you know how
never
long you
do it
have to
again.
live to
you
be like-
you no longer do it again. When I say once in a year, it's like done.
Done.
You're
Are
done.
you really like never gonna do it again?
Well, that's why it takes one sin a year. It's work.
Anyways, I just like to mess with him on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we spoke a little bit about faith. We spoke a little bit about where reason comes, where science comes and fits in. And, you know, we spoke a little bit about doubt. Is it normal? Is it not normal? Like one of the big questions, I think, when it comes to God, faith, is, so if, let's say, God exists, why does he allow suffering? Now, suffering is a big topic. I think it's maybe even the center of the Christian religion in life in general, because it's something that we all have in common, like we all go through. But if he exists and he loves us so much, why does he allow suffering?
Okay. Okay, maybe I could say something related to this. Maybe touch around a little bit in the beginning. I think that we, the world, and we create the suffering. And the reason that we create the suffering is because there's a lack of perfection. And I think just to give a little like not backstory, but like a little other perspective is like when it comes to free will, God gives us the ability to love or to do well, and the ability to not do, and the ability of do wrong. Okay, and if we don't love God, for example, or you cannot love someone by being quote unquote a robot. So God could have programmed us to love, okay, but that's not true love.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have that option to choose between like loving and not loving makes the love existent.
Yeah. I mean, love
becomes-
is conditional on free will.
Exactly.
You
It's
can't-
conditional on free. That's you said it well.
You can't really love someone
So-
if you don't have free will.
Exactly. So with that free will, it means that we could also do wrong. And the fact that we can do wrong brings in suffering, in my opinion. So like suffering is inevitable if we are to be in the images of God.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you don't ask for it. Like sometimes something tragic happens and you have to go through suffering without necessarily your own doing. Like how would somebody explain that and then say, yes, there is a God that loves me, that cares for me?
It's a really hard topic, and you know, the first answer I would give is I don't know. I don't know. You know, you touched on it that without, you know, free will, there would be no love. But I don't know. But I think an interesting thing that I can maybe bring to attention. It doesn't answer the question. But even when God came on earth, you know, Jesus Christ, he suffered like the ultimate pain, and he was innocent.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, what does that tell us? Like, you know, that's not, you know, when I think about this topic, it's like, that's not the end of the story. We don't have to make our suffering the end of our story. You know, Christ resurrected, and he can help us like resurrect as well. You know, he can heal those parts, and he can use what we've experienced for like others, to help others who are living through the same things, who need help. So yeah,
I think that's actually something I wanted to mention as well, because I listened to this interview with John Lennox, and he answers this question in a way I like kind of never heard an answer before, and it touches a little bit on what you said about the crucifixion. So, like, let's say suffering is there; it's a fact. Okay, this is what this world is about. There is suffering. There's pain. Everybody goes through it. God, instead of distancing himself and being like, no, well, you have to go through suffering for whatever, to prove your love to me, or instead of distancing himself and just leaving us alone, he came into this world. He took part in the suffering.
The ultimate suffering.
The ultimate suffering, which was unfair. He didn't deserve it. We kind of, sometimes kind of deserve it. Like, say we're not innocent. Yeah. He was, and he still chose to enter it and to go through it with us. It was his way of telling us that, like, you're not alone. I am willing to go through the suffering with you. And I think that just says a lot about the character of God and just who God is. He was willing to go through this with us. He gave us hope with the resurrection itself, telling us that there is something after death, and that in the end there is ultimate justice, even though in this life you go through injustice, but there is still hope.
Even like it's ultimate justice, but some people think you just suffer on this earth and then there's justice. But in the story of Job, at the end of his life, he actually got double what he had. So it's not like it's just like, okay, you're going to suffer in the entire like life on this earth and then that's it, you're going to go to heaven. But you could also get blessed for suffering on this earth. Like, it's a real
and again, I think it's suffering that's gonna also like get you to like allow you to become a better person in the end. Because if you just always had whatever you want, if everything was like happy land and rainbows and unicorns, like, you would never really pursue that more, I think, or that wanting to become better.
Yeah, we wouldn't know that we actually need God.
Yeah. Because everything's like great,
right?
You know, it's like, okay, we're having a nice life. But and I think we'd be missing out on so much if we didn't know God. I think it's the most beautiful relationship you can have in your life. So
100%. And I want to add to this because actually I mentioned at the beginning Buddhism, because it's fun. We're discussing the topic of suffering. Because their set of belief is, yes, there's suffering, you have to escape it. Which is, for me, a sort of, okay, you become your own reality or your own God by just like trying to do that. But we know that we're not perfect, so we will always fail. And this is where, like, this beautiful analogy that you mentioned, that God became human and suffered for us, so we know that there's no suffering at the end. That's like the reward, I feel.
But you said like they escape suffering, like
how does one do that?
That's their mindset, and obviously they have like different meditation, breathing techniques, which we could consider demonic or not. It's really up to interpretation, honestly. But like this mindset of Buddhism of escaping a reality, I feel is not like saying, well, this is my reality, a bit like Job. Okay, well, I still want to know God. It's not like, okay, suffering is the main thing and I want to escape it, and
Yeah.
then okay, what's the point?
He could have just numbed himself and be like, I'm outside of this. I don't want to feel all these
Yeah.
feelings. I don't want to feel anything. And that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
I think in Christianity, you have to face your suffering.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
And without suffering, how would we know joy? Like if we were always joyful, how would we know that we were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that Jordan Peterson has said, I watch a lot of his videos, and this one really stuck with me, is the only way out is through.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't escape it.
Yeah.
If you're escaping it, you're delaying it.
Mhm.
Like you face it head on and you go through it. And like there is a reward in the end, you know, it is worth going through it in the end, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
Because suffering is the truth, and the truth will set you free. So like you keep on, just whatever that comes on, like you have to face it.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah. And to touch on the part you said, like, you know, Jesus, you know, he doesn't promise a life without suffering, but he does promise, you know, to be with us when it happens. So, and I think it's like, I feel like it's portrayed when someone, like, something bad happens, it's portrayed as if God is just standing on the side and like not doing anything. But like, that's not the reality of God. God is goodness. So he is not like a stranger, you know, sitting there chilling while you're, you know, doing, waiting, you know, for him to act. No, goodness is basically him. He's the one that's carrying, like, how do we say it?
Carrying the weight of your suffering.
Yeah, he's the one holding everything good together.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if he wasn't here, you wouldn't be able to be joyful. You wouldn't be able to, I don't know, to have, I don't know, like good things happen to you. He's the one that's in all of it. So, you know, there's that side as well, I would say. And an interesting thing about Job, you know, story of Job, I've been reading his story because in Bible in a Year podcast, you know, we start with that story. And what's interesting about Job is a little like backstory for people who don't know, but basically God let Satan, the devil, like take everything from Job. And Job was a righteous man. He feared God. And God told Satan, like, okay, take everything from him, but don't like harm him. And so he took everything that he had, his children, his land, and I think even after he had...
He became sick.
He became
ill.
sick.
Yeah.
But don't like kill him. And then that's where Job started like questioning God. And he specifically was questioning God about justice. Like, is he actually just? I don't understand.
Because he was a faithful servant, Job.
Exactly.
He was very faithful.
He was
that's
very
That's why the
righteous.
devil attacked him.
Yeah. And he was very faithful. He and he was innocent. Okay, he was innocent. So, you know, he didn't have an explanation. He's like, what did I do? What did, you know? And Job is basically the story of him going back and forth with his friends, trying to find an answer. And in the end, you know, the last 2-3 chapters, that's where God steps in. And what God says specifically for Job is that he doesn't even answer the question of suffering. Because what Job was trying to do was to basically place God on trial. He's like, come here, tell me what I did wrong. And he wanted to know what God, you know, he wanted to have the knowledge of God that God had. And then what God does is that he shifts the perspective. He tells him, okay, come and tell me, like, were you there when I started this whole world? Were you there when I created the oceans? How do you know? Like, there's a list of questions. And I think what God was rebuking of Job was not him questioning him, was not him doubting. He was rebuking the fact that, you know, he was trying to elevate in a way himself on the same level as God, to understand the same things that he does, like to have his knowledge of things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, because he put God on trial, which
Yeah.
is like a kind of an ego move.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
bit. There's maybe a bit. What do you think, Matt? No, tell me honestly. I might have
I'm
like.
having a little bit of a light bulb moment because okay, like of course, I pray a lot. I have my like routine a little bit, read the Bible, journal, where like I ask God questions. And you guys, like I told you, I've been asking for a sign. Is that putting myself at the level of God, asking him to give me a sign? Like is that at the
No.
same level
No,
of
like,
it? Or like telling me, let's say, oh, what I should be doing with my life, or tell me this, tell me. I always tell him to tell me stuff.
I mean, it depends
That's
how you put
normal.
it. Because if you're like, if you don't show me a sign, I won't believe. Like that's a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, that's aggressive. Like usually, the way I ask is, God, if it's your will, let me know. If not, just show me the path.
Yes.
So this is.
I think the element is that you can ask and be
Yeah.
persistent. Like be
Oh, I am.
persistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, and at the end, it goes back to like God values sincerity and humility.
Mm-hmm.
So and maybe there's something else. There's something else that he wants to show you before he gives you the sign, or through that he wants to show you. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but
What you
Yeah.
said at the end, it goes back to the thing of like a bit what I said in the beginning. In order to have faith, you have to get to know God. And what he was describing in that last 3 chapters was the fact that he was describing actually who he is. I'm the creator of the world. You were not there. I'm the one that fabricated like everything, the stars. You were not there. I'm a supernatural being technically. But the more you think and meditate about that, the more you actually start having faith and putting your faith in him, because you get to know who he actually is.
yeah.
And maybe if you guys know Saint Augustine, he writes that in his book. I read a little bit, and he writes his meditations and this thought process of who actually is God, what is possible, what's all the different questions that you would have for someone that's supernatural.
100%. And I would say like the Bible is very balanced in that sense, where like we developed a lot on the sentiment of injustice and like everything, but and like sadness and pain, but also like the Bible says that Satan will appear as an angel of light. So not everything good in this world is from God. So we need always to be careful, like of that. So like, for example, if I don't know, like I receive $1 million, but that $1 million is blood money, so or drug stuff. So like, is this really good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely. I think the more you, again, get closer to God, the better maybe you get at identifying what's really good, what really
Yes.
helps
Yeah.
you. But
Yeah, and he gives you the grace of faith.
Yes.
Like he's gonna, because it's a gift.
Yeah.
Thomas Aquinas,
Yes.
his definition of faith. You were going to mention that? Sorry,
Yes.
I got you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
that's
No,
him.
go ahead.
No, because for
Awesome.
this episode, I did a lot of not reading Thomas Aquinas. It's mostly like because it's difficult to read his stuff. I find it really
But
difficult.
how
I
is
don't
it-
have his.
How is
mind.
it faith? How is faith a gift?
Because like as human beings, we are only capable of reason. And if we and faith is like believing in revelations. And so I think in a way it's if we make the decision, okay, I'm going to start to believe that there's something more, then God is going to start working with that and give you more.
Okay, so the revelation part is the part where it's the gift, and the faith is
I
having
think
faith in the
so.
revelation.
I think that's what I think. Not Tom. I don't know what Thomas Aquinas thinks, but he does say it's a gift, and I think it's like the Eucharist. You talked about it. When Jesus in John chapter 6 talks about does his he says like to the disciples and others that you must eat my flesh, drink my blood, and then the disciples found that to be very hard to believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jesus, at the end, he says, like, the flesh is of no avail. You know, the only way that you can believe this, and I'm paraphrasing, the only way you can believe this is through the Spirit.
Mm.
And the Spirit is what gives you this revelation. And, you know, all you have to do is, okay, like, help me believe, like, ask God, help me believe, help me do this, and he will give you that revelation. Will make it make sense, but yeah, in a way, we don't completely understand it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. It's still crazy, but yeah, you get this reassurance, this faith that it's real and it's him. So, so yeah, it's just.
Mm.
So, guys, the last thing I wanted to talk about today, it is a big question. We touched on it a little bit last week, and it's a difference between different Christian denominations. So Protestants versus Catholics, Orthodox. Are we saved by faith alone?
Oof.
So, okay, this is interesting because it depends of what you mean. You can say, like, we as Catholics, we can say yes. So, okay, there's the initial saving part where you need, you know, repentance, faith, and baptism. But then after, I think you need, like you said, like faith working through love. If that's what you mean by faith alone, yeah. You know, faith working through love, and love is not only a feeling, love is an action.
Absolutely.
You need to, you know, love God, love your neighbor, and the ultimate perfect kind of love that we can express through action is sacrifice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I agree if that's what you mean, but if faith is only like your intellect, I believe in God, then no.
Yeah, I would
But,
just add to Steph. Actually, the right way to say it is we're first saved by grace,
Grace.
Yeah.
through faith, by working love.
Working itself out of working itself out in love.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
So-
the main thing that you always hear is we are saved by grace through faith. But there's like this whole other part, which is the works, if you want. And like one thing as well, Catholics, Orthodox, they don't believe that if we do good works, we're saved. Like that's not,
Yeah.
we're not going to be
You're not saving
saved by our
yourself.
works.
Exactly.
That's not something that we believe. It's a misconception.
Yeah, the Bible said show it clearly to like one day the disciples went to Jesus and say, Lord, some people are making miracles through your name. But then Jesus later says, when those will reach heaven, they will say, Lord, Lord, we did that in your name. But he say, depart from me, I never knew you.
Yeah.
So
Not everybody who says Lord, Lord will enter into heaven,
Exactly.
the gates of
Exactly.
heaven. Exactly. So like faith by itself, it doesn't mean anything. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but like even the devil believes in God. The devil believes in
exactly.
Jesus, right? Believing is not enough. You have to prove, or yes, you have to also show in your works, show your love through your works. And then that could strengthen your faith and show your faith.
I think
in the end.
the devil has faith more than anyone,
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
but he doesn't
yeah.
have love.
Yeah.
He doesn't have love.
That's why
Exactly.
they say love is the number one, and then like
Yeah.
faith is number two. It's
Yeah.
not as. But I wanted to say something else about faith too. Like you mentioned Jordan Peterson. I'm also going to quote him a little bit. He never says I believe. He never says I believe in Christianity. He never says that. Why?
Yeah.
Because in his opinion, we can't believe. Like real belief is I believe that you're in front of me.
Yeah.
I believe that you're sitting right here. I don't believe that much in God. And I think faith and belief is a spectrum.
Yeah.
Some people believe this much, some people believe this much, and you're always reaching for higher, but you're never going to reach 100% on this in this world. So I see it like that more than like, oh, I believe and that's it. You don't believe, because if you believed, you would be perfect.
Oh, for sure.
You would be, you would
That's-
work, like you would do all the works if you
Yeah.
believed, all the works.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when people ask, is it faith or works? Well, it's hand in hand. It's just because you can't. If you don't have faith, you're not going to do the works. But if you have faith, 100%, you'll do all the works. Trust me. If you know that God is there watching and you know who God is, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do good things. You're gonna have love in you, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know if like some Protestants believe that you need to do works, because Like
And
sometimes they just say
it's
that
just not logical to not do works.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because if you believe in a loving God that much, you start loving that God.
Mm.
I
You,
think,
by definition, you're gonna do works. You're gonna do good works. You're gonna help people. That's what you're gonna focus
so
on.
it is both in the end. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not just by faith. Like
No.
By faith.
it's both.
yeah. And the funny thing is, we actually do agree, but it's just minor details that maybe we don't
Yeah.
fully agree with. But like like generally we do agree on the
Mm-hmm.
same things, but I think it differs like with some denominations.
Yeah.
Because they believe that if you're actually saved, you're gonna see the fruit of it. The fruit being the works.
Exactly.
And some of them question, okay, if a person was doing the work, was showing fruits, but then decided to turn away. Some of them question, okay, was that person actually saved in the first place?
Okay.
So it depends, but normally I would say they would agree. We could have like a
We
lot
could
of
have an agreement
agreements.
because the Protestants, what they don't believe in is the fact that you by doing the works, you're gaining XP.
Oh yes, yes.
That's
not what we
what they
believe
say
in.
that is not true, and I agree 100%.
Yeah.
You're not gaining XP like. I think some other religions, it's a bit like that. Like you buy your own. Like
Yeah.
the more
In
you
Islam,
work,
it's
is
like
it in
this.
Islam?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to do.
You have points,
Yeah.
and sadly, kind of Allah predestines those in advance. But that's for another topic.
Yeah.
But I mean, in some sense, like you are encouraged to do
Yeah.
good works too. So the more you do, the better. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
like, again, like you're not
I mean-
going to be
I mean-
saved just because of that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, how at the end Jesus is gonna like separate the two? It's by the works,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's the definition of your faith.
exactly.
That's the presentation of your faith.
Yeah.
It's the works.
Yeah, and he even said it. Again, paraphrasing, he says, I came to you, you did not clothe me, you did not feed me. And then, they asked him like, oh, when did we do that? He's like, whatever you do unto others, you also do to me. So
Exactly.
he did say, guys, like you need to do the works too, right? It's not
Exactly.
enough
Yeah.
to just, okay, like I believe and then I'm going to be in heaven.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. We're talking a lot of about Jordan Peterson
Today.
Today.
but one thing that I like heard him say once was you believe people tell you what they believe in not by what they say but how they act by their actions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me like a lot. It's like, ooh, okay. And I think it's the same thing for like faith. You
Oh,
know, if you could, it's very easy to say like I love Jesus Christ, but then you go and I don't know, get drunk, you know,
Yeah.
or because ultimately you're what you're doing is saying like yes, I love Christ, but I'm willing to, like sin against him. That's not love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very interesting.
You had something to say, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, no, but it was just like to go over also like the Protestants, because they're like dispatched. So there's like obviously the one who are sola fide, so faith alone. There's sola scriptura, which is we can touch on another time. So just believing in the Bible.
Only the Bible.
Only the Bible.
Yeah.
And the only KJV Bible, quote unquote. There's the sola Christus, so only by Christ. There's also sola gratia, gratia, so only by grace, and only by God's glory, so sola Deo Gloria.
Okay,
So-
I didn't know like the rest. I just knew the first two.
Yeah, those are the two commons. I think the other are less. But yeah, so this is like where also like, well, then what's the truth, right? So like at the end of the day, we want to be saved. So like if someone just sticks to the scripture, we pray that at least they did their best. But yeah,
Yeah, that's why I think we've mentioned this before, but it comes back to like, how does God judge?
Yeah.
Like we know he's just,
yes,
so he will judge every person according to what they know as well.
exactly.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So, I mean, I think one thing I'd like to leave people with is if ever you're doubting with your faith, keep pursuing, keep asking your questions. It's okay to doubt. It's normal to doubt. It's not just okay. And just keep searching, keep asking your questions, and keep praying. Try to develop your relationship with God, and a lot of good things could come. And one, I think, last thing I would like to mention is, like, if God does truly exist, it's the most important relationship. It's the most important thing you can cultivate in your life, this relationship with Him. So I encourage you to do it. And do you guys want to leave our people with something before we end today?
Briefly, also, like, faith, we discussed a bit, the doubts, the fear, the sadness, but it's also, you can have faith and be angry at God. So, like, one topic I wanted to touch briefly on was the book of Jonah, where, like, throughout the story, he had faith, but he disobeyed at the beginning, but God, gave him a lot of warning, and throughout he still had faith, and he was angry at God's decision. But as long as you keep the faith, and you can be doubtful, you can be angry in a biblical way,
Respectful way.
Yeah, exactly. That's my message. So, like, that's what's just beautiful about Christianity. It's not like a blind belief. You have to be skeptical. Like, as I said, Satan can appear as an angel of the Lord. So not angel of the Lord, the
Angel of light.
Angel of light. So
Absolutely. Harut, any
Me,
last
I think
comments?
that the last thing that I could say maybe is regarding to faith. I think if anyone is interested to start to get to know the Christian faith and get to know God, maybe they should start, learning about. I really like the Gospel of John, so that's a good place to start to learn about Christ. And faith is, again, at the end of the day, like I was saying, like, faith is something that grows in you. So the more you get to know God, the more you put yourself in Scripture, the more you, like, devote time to prayer, to trusting in God. That trust that you build with God is gonna become fruitful with time. And to not think too much about it either. Like, in the sense, like, you don't overthink every little detail. The why that you talked about before, like why something happens during suffering or whatever, that's something that you leave for God. It's like you know what you have to do.
Exactly.
You do what you have to do. You leave everything else with God.
Yeah.
And that's why when I wake up in the morning and I do my routine, I put everything with God, and then I try to not think about the details, even though I do. So, like, I try not to do it, and it really helps me to begin my day in a good way. And it's really shifted the way I view life a lot when I started to do this habit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stephanie, any last words you want to leave our listeners with?
Yes, I'm actually gonna quote Gavin Ortland, who's like a Protestant pastor that I really like. He's very good at, because he dives deep into, like, history, what people believed before. So he said, "It's a comforting thought the way Christ is so responsive to faith, and I believe God values sincerity. So if you are full-blooded, wholehearted, with every level of your being seeking truth, I think we know we have a God who will honor that."
Oh, that's beautiful.
So yeah, I would leave you with that. And also, like, if there's any Catholic viewers, one thing that has really helped me is the sacraments. So confession, Eucharist, go and receive them, like, go, because it really solidified and increased my faith. And it helped me, like, a lot. So yeah.
awesome.
Nice. Cool.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
guys. Thank you for listening to yet another episode. We love you so much. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Share this with people. If some of your friends are doubting, if you're doubting, share this with people. And know that, again, you're not alone in your journey.
Yeah.
So thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. We gained another subscriber from the last episode.
Oh,
So
yay.
Oh,
Let's
Awesome.
go.
you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It was
Thank
me,
you,
actually.
guys.
No, I'm kidding.
Imagine.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.